Hello everyone. So today's date is 25th of June 2022 and today we are going to discuss about Spring MVC architecture. So let's start. Spring MVC basically an architecture which follows the model view and controller design pattern. So it basically a framework in Java or in a Spring which is used to create web applications or enterprise applications. It usually works around a dispatcher servlet. Dispatcher servlet basically a class or we can say it as a front controller which accept or which handles the request from the user or a web server, and according to the request by the user, it sends the data or sends the particular object to the appropriate model or view or a controller. So this is how a dispatcher servlet works. Dispatcher servlet works on annotations. Let's see a particular controller. You have a controller, a main controller. You have to define the main controller in your project. So at the REST controller is annotation which is used to give or define some controller as a main controller. Whereas if you want to access some methods from the controller, then at the request mapping, this is annotation used there. So a dispatcher servlet does this with the use of request from the user, and it checks it to the appropriate request mapping. So let's see how model, view and controller works. So model basically a model which encapsulates a data, or it can have the objects or a set of objects in it. So it is used to basically transfer the objects from one set of controller to another set of controller, or one set of controller to view. So model is just a mediator between the two communication things. Then view is something that which users get, or users will accept the appropriate data from to its browser. So in view, now we can say it as HTML pages in the form of view are present there. View basically renders the required HTML page with the help of or with the use of controller's output to the user. Now the controller is as we know that a controller is a basic need or and a heart of a whole system which process some analysis or process data from the users and gives the appropriate result to the user. So let's see how the internal working is done. When a user sends particular request from his browser, then a dispatcher servlet there, which can work as a front controller, accept all the requests from the user. Then that request, the dispatcher servlet will work on that, and it transfer it through the model to the appropriate controller or a view. Then controller gets the request from the dispatcher servlet. Controller works on it, which method to be called or which business logic to be called. Then by getting that process, then controller will send the data or send the objects to the view. Then view will give that object in it, and then transfer it to the user through the dispatcher servlet. So this is how an internal working is done in a Spring MVC architecture. Spring MVC architecture basically a most popular architecture in the development of enterprise applications. Although there are some another architectures also, which is a Spring Boot, JSP, and many of them. So let's see what are the basic advantages of Spring MVC. It basically allows us to create a fast and applications. The development of application is easier and faster as our whole operations are in one architecture. Then the number of users or number of developers can work on one application together, because everything are associated with it. In the same manner, there are some disadvantage of Spring MVC, which is we cannot as all the view model are all are interconnected or tightly coupled with each other, so it is not recommended. So in that case, Spring MVC is not suitable. That then small applications will affect more due to this high coupling or tight coupling. So these are basic two advantages of Spring MVC architecture. So this is about a Spring MVC. Thank you so much.